We can do this. I wouldn't do this if I didn't think it was the best clinical outcome for you. But there's going to be a trade-off here. If we're going to do this, we have to do this. And our tier breakup time went from 2 seconds to over 23. All right, my friends, the Ultimate OD Podcast. Very fun episode, short and sweet, but increasing our revenue like $250 per patient, almost like a 50% increase in revenue per patient. How did we do it? How can you do it? Stay tuned. We have the closing thought of the episode. This is the Ultimate OD Podcast. Here we go. All right, my friends, the Ultimate OD Podcast. Thank you for the likes, the listens, just the general interest in the podcast in optometry. I love that we are grinding and moving forward. Office having a really good year. We're growing. A lot of things have changed, but over the past 2 months, me and my associate have both been over $600 revenue per patient, which is awesome. She's been like $650 both months. I was like high fives, and then over $7 last month. It has been a conscious effort. Since I got back from AOA, we've really been doubling down, tripling down, putting everything we have into our dry eye clinic and growing that. What I'm about to talk about this episode is how we've, increased our revenue per patient by $200+ in 3 months. And one of the things I think is, or what I explain, is universal to anything that you do. Okay, so you have to have this process, and you can apply this process to anything and everything. All right, you have to be committed to what you want to do. You have to get focused on what you're going to provide and how you're going to provide it, and then you have to go all in on it. And the steps are, I'll break them down to 3 steps. Specifically for dry eye, it comes down to, what are you doing in your baseline testing? Okay? A lot of things that we buy, we want an instant ROI on those. Like, I do this, I get this amount back. OCT. I buy this, I get this amount back. We have a lot of offices, though, that do retinal photos, that do OCT screening, and there's a reason for that. You're looking for things that gives a better exam. One of the things I think has been instrumental in increasing that revenue per patient and us getting the messaging out is that we're doing mybography on pretty much every single patient that's 18 or older. We have interior segment cameras that can do mybography. We have a mybographer. And then we're also looking at their lids and lashes. This has got the conversation going. Okay, so what is your baseline? What is the minimum level that you want to do? And think about this. In our practices, when we do glaucoma testing or we do NCT and we look at the nerves, if you have a high pressure, you have nerves that look cupped out, you're going to do more testing. It's our standard of care. We approach dry eye in the same exact way. If they have meibomian gland dropout, if they have blepharitis or Demodex in their lids, that's a conversation that needs more testing. Right? Period. You guys have this walking into your office every single day. I guarantee it. I did not realize the number of patients that were either asymptomatic or didn't know they had symptoms until I started talking to them about it. Like, hey, I'm looking at your glands. You have this. Yeah, my eyes do feel dry. I do X, Y, and Z. Right? It's in your chair. Period. Now, what else are you looking for? Whether it's binocular vision issues, it's patients with scleral lens needs, it's whatever you choose to focus on, but it's there. You have to set your baseline at a level that's going to help you find these patients. And with the investment in the interior segment, camera, the dry suites on our slit lamps, there's no direct ROI that I'm getting from that device, right? I'm going to be taking a bunch more pictures. I'm going to be showing patients this. It's raising our standard of care. It's giving the patient a better experience. Every time they come into our office and they get a look at their eyes, specifically, not us looking online or showing me a picture of something, they're seeing their eyes. People are going like crazy over retinal photos. What about the front of the eye? What about their tear breakup time? Their glands. Go to another office. They're not getting this. We're setting ourselves at a higher level, right? Our level of care is different than what they get everywhere else they've ever went, right? And then once you have that baseline, you need to show them the baseline. Show them what they have. Discuss it. I remember this when I was in optometry school as a fourth year. I was rotating through the Cheyenne Vision Clinic. Love that office. But they were cool enough. They sent me to other offices, and I saw what was being done at Cheyenne. They take the retinal photos. They discuss the retinal photos. They go from there. The other clinic, they took the photo. Like I said, here's your retina, and then moved on. Well, give them value. Give them a reason that we're doing that. We do this. Hey, your glands look great. These are the things I want you to do. So not only are you showing them where they're at, you're giving them ways to keep it healthy. So many of our patients are coming in because they want to take care of their eyes. People don't just come in to a doctor's appointment because without the idea that, hey, I want to keep myself healthy. I want to get this checked out. Give them value. Give them things they can do. We talk about lid hygiene. We talk about, ways to keep the macula healthy. We talk about sun protection. We have ways to keep your eyes healthy in the office. How to remove your makeup, right? It's not enough to just have the testing, have the baseline. What can they do to keep that healthy, to keep that where it is? Or what can they do to improve it? Do you have a protocol in place? And then this should be universal amongst your doctors, right? The worst thing you can do is have you talking about something and your associates or the other doctors talking about something else, right? Brand is going to an office and knowing you're going to get the same thing every single time, right? Chick-fil-A, McDonald's, restaurants are what I like to point out. But when they come to my office, they're going to get the same level of care that I give from my associate, from my other associates. Whoever works here is going to operate at that level. All right? We don't just have the discussion, we have the tools to keep it healthy. I know for a fact that a couple of years ago I had some back and neck issues. Went to a physical therapist, and they had all this stuff like, hey, your back's messed up, you need this, this, and this. Here, you can buy this right here. Sure, I'll buy it. Like, I don't want to go look around for it. I don't want to go look online. I want it now. I can have this, make it better. If you have an issue, you're going to deal with it right away. Have the things that you recommend in office. Now, they may not go and get it every single time, but if they get something else, they come back, it's not working. Are you getting what I told you to? Yeah, that's not working, right? Gives you credibility, gives you that higher level of care. Okay? This has increased, again, the revenue per patient. We're testing for things, we're finding things, we're giving them solutions. So those are the two big things, right? Set your standard, show them, and discuss. Have options to go from there. Now, the last thing I will tell you, this is something that is not intuitive, but I've really seen a difference in the last 2 months, is that when you're discussing these things with the patient, you need to find out what resonates with them. For example, we do some aesthetics in our office. I am amazed at the number of patients that are getting Botox, they're getting fillers, they're getting things done. They've had IPL somewhere else. I was clueless to all of this, right? They want to come to me to get this done on their face. They trust me. They're already paying for this. My prices, I might have to raise them, aren't what they are in other places, but we are giving a higher level of care when it comes to dry eye, anterior seg. We are the people to deliver this care, but you got to pull this out of them. There's ways that you can do this. I'll share that on future episodes, right? But have that discussion. I had a patient came in for a diabetic eye exam. Her glands looked great, but I started talking about sagging lids, how we can tighten up the skin around her eyes, crow's feet. A week later, she came to get her glasses and said, "Hey, Dr. Lilly talked to me about X, Y, or Z. Can I sign up for that?" You sure can, right? Are you telling your patients what you do? Are you conveying that to them? Do you have stuff in the waiting room, in the office? Are you putting stuff on social media? Are you in the exam chair telling them the things that you offer? I have to do more of it. But that is something that I think is huge for two reasons. One, you're going to find a lot of patients. You're going to find a lot of patients that want what you have to offer, but didn't know you offered it. You're going to find a lot of patients that are getting similar treatments at other places, but you can help them with their dry eye. They're going to come to you. Pick out whatever I'm doing this from a dry eye perspective, but figure out what their pain is and solve their problem. I had a patient that had dry eye, loose lids, scleral show, did a treatment, was kind of aggressive. She didn't like the downtime per se, but she got amazing results. I'm talking amazing results. And we were just going to do the dry eye aspect, but she came back. She's like, I need to keep this going. I can tell such a big difference. I'll admit I was wrong. I want that. And again, it's because I had a conversation with her. I'm like, hey, we can do this. I wouldn't do this if I didn't think it was the best clinical outcome for you. But there's going to be a trade-off here. If we're going to do this, we have to do this. And our tear breakup time went from 2 seconds to over 23. Amazing results, right? And she understood after I talked to her. But you have to be willing to talk to these patients. You have to be open to the discussion. What is their pain and how can you make it better? So let me recap. Set your baseline so you're looking for the problems that you can solve. Show them the problems that you find. Even if they're healthy, tell them how to keep it healthy. Have those solutions in office. And then have a way of discussing with them things outside of what you find, what's on their mind, what's their issues. And you'd be surprised how many things you can solve that they have problems with that you weren't even going to talk about in the exam, but because you had the conversation, because you took the time to ask the question, you're a better doctor. And I will gladly say that is 100% a result of my associate convincing me that more time with the patient was valuable. And me realizing that when we're competing on volume, it's a losing proposition. So me taking a step back, seeing less patients has increased our revenue per patient from 400, 450 to 600, 700. Happier patients, happier doctors. You can do this too, but you have to commit. It sounds scary. It sounds like something you hear on a podcast that would never work in your office, but I will tell you right here and now, I'm in middle of, suburbs of Grand Rapids, not a vast metropolis, blue collar patients. It can be done. You should be doing it too. That's what I have. We'll have more for you next week. Where has the time gone? We are to the closing thought of the episode, and today I will leave you with this thought. Good relationships happen when you get someone at their lowest and you build them up. It is very easy to be on a high and just celebrate the good times, celebrate the wins. But I've learned this in parenting, in my marriage, and managing staff, that the true test of leadership is what you do when people are at their lowest, right? When they're having a bad day, when they're going through troubles, struggles, it's not clicking. What you do in those moments is the definition of how good of a leader you are. And I'll tell you this right now, that's hard, right? Because the things that work for you are not necessarily the things that are going to work for them. That's when you see what kind of level of understanding you have for the situation, what kind of empathy you have, what kind of EQ you have to understand someone in a different spot, from a different walk of life, from a different stage in their journey with whatever they're at. How do you build them up? I've dealt with that a lot over the past year, from having an associate to doubling my staff size, my kids getting older, mentoring, 7th and 8th grade boys, and as a football coach, dealing with all people, all different stages of their careers. What do you do at the lowest? Think about that the next time you're going to have a message that you're trying to get out there. Is it's really easy when we're riding high. But when things get tough, when things aren't going right, do you believe in this message enough to keep pounding it home? Are your core values, are your principles that you operate under strong enough to get you through those times? And I'll tell you this right now, you're going to have to adapt and adjust, because they're not always where they need to be, but those are the times you grow the most. As a leader, as someone on the other end of that conversation, also look at those around you. When you're at your lowest, who's the person that picks you up? Who's the person that gets you out of the funk, that keeps you going? Those are the people you want to surround yourself with, and then take what they do and apply it to those around you. I'll tell you this right now, you do that right, you'll have people that want to be around you, that want to work with you for life. That's what I have. Dr. Lily out.